Millionaires are made, where we believe you can grow and be a millionaire in all six aspects of health. That's right. It's not just about being rich in your bank account. It's about being a millionaire in your physical, mental, social, spiritual, intellectual, and obviously a little bit of your financial health. Today, we are focusing on how to improve your financial health with entrepreneurship. Maybe you're on the fence, you're thinking about starting your own business or a side hustle, or maybe you're a full blown, crazy, neurotic entrepreneur like we might have in our guests here. If you've never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is a show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something that you don't, and there's something to be learned from everyone in this big, beautiful world. In the spirit of authenticity, I don't talk to my guests about tips or advice before the show starts. So what you're about to hear from them is from their own life journey and their own what they consider the most important tip on how to improve your financial health with entrepreneurship. Audience, this is a live engagement interactive show. Please comment and ask questions. We do ask them live. We encourage you guys to ask as many questions as possible so we can get as much awesome information out as possible. I'm going to take a moment real quick to shout out some of our followers. Thank you so much. On Facebook, Lou LaFon, thanks for following. Instagram, Kyle Corman. TikTok, Daniel Gomes. And YouTube, Bradford Henderson. Go follow us on our channel so you can get a shout out in our next episode. If you would like to be a guest on our show, our link is being dropped right now. I would absolutely love it. I know you have a piece of advice to share with someone somewhere, somehow to help this world grow. So please sign up in the link dropped right now and sign up to be guests. There's no experience needed. We love having anyone and everyone to come share little bits of info. And if you're going through something in life right now, maybe you don't have as much money as you would like. Maybe you're not as fit as you would like, or spiritually you're lost. Let us know. We always love topic ideas. We will take your topic and your struggle, go find 3 awesome guests, and hopefully give you some advice to get you through that hump in life. As with any and all podcasts, if you like what we do, please subscribe, like, share, send stars, whatever it is on whatever medium you are. And if you want to have a little bit more one-on-one, I do offer free growth consultations. I love meeting with you, talking with you, and hopefully giving you some advice and guidance on how to grow. I spend my entire life learning from people way smarter than me, so hopefully I can teach you a little bit too. And last but not least, this show is sponsored by Samir Dosani, who's a certified health and nutrition coach specializing in the prevention and reversal of chronic diseases. He's currently getting his PhD in anthropology at the University of Western Cape in South Africa. Super smart guy, knows so much about the body. If you have any sort of ailments, even what you think are chronic diseases, he takes care of it. Next up, we got Craig Sutkovsky. He's a human behaviorist and mentor, and he helps entrepreneurs discover their true identity, purpose, and achieve growth in business and life. Can't give any better accolades for him. Craig is super smart and super awesome. Go check out his link now. Dr. Nick Sotelo is our next sponsor. Is a licensed professional with a PhD helping men manage anger with expert coaching. Check him out at stopangertoday.com. And our last sponsor for this show is Veronica Herrera. Veronica is a life coach and a host of the Thrive, Don't Survive, which empowers others with emotional regulation tools to transform challenges into thriving success. Thank you so much for our sponsors. Please go check them out. And without further ado, we will bring out our first guest, whose name is Alan. He is about to go live on air. Alan, he's ready. Let's do it. Alan, who are you?
Alan Wiederhold. I am an author, podcaster, CEO, husband, father, former wantrepreneur turned entrepreneur.
Former wantrepreneur. So you succeeded. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome, Alan. Well, I guess you are an entrepreneur, so you're great for this episode. I have a little question for you. If I wanted to improve my financial health with entrepreneurship, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
I would say start with your why. Know what your purpose is. So I have been part of the wantrepreneur for a very long time. I helped build a very large $40 million a year company. nearly burnt my life to the ground in the process. And then one day just decided that I saw a need that I was so passionate about that it became an absolute passion, and decided to make that leap. And it's been very successful so far.
Awesome. Very cool. So passion start with why. I am literally probably halfway through my third time reading Start with Why by Simon Sinek.
Exactly.
Crazy how this show these all of our shows are planned like months in advance. So I never actually it's crazy how it all lines up. It's so funny you just said that right now, right here. Alan, where on your life journey did you learn this advice?
So I learned it from actually a couple of places. So I love to read. I'm a gigantic reader. So loved Simon Sinek's Why. I was actually a part of a mastermind group, and I think that everybody needs a coach. I think everyone, whether it be body, whether it be financial, you need someone who's maybe a couple of steps ahead of where you are in the journey of life, to be able to kind
Yes.
of help and guide you. So for me, it was really being able to hear what was possible behind the frame of how I was raised, how I was educated, to be able to think that I had to work for someone and actually help fulfill their vision. Because most of the time when we're working for someone, it's their vision. It's not usually ours. And if we were to just let go of that and to figure out what our passions were and the gifts that we're able to give to the world, then we're able to really kind of see through all that and to make the execution.
So true. So coaching is something that I was the stubborn dumbass till probably about 30-ish. And I was like, I know the best. I can do this. I can do that. At that point, I probably had 15 companies that I had started. And then once I got a coach and once I got converted to the coaching lifestyle, I was like, what the hell was I doing? My God, I would have been 10 times better, so much faster. And
Isn't
now I
that
have,
crazy? And when you're willing to invest too, because I hear a lot of times people are like, well, I would never spend that. But you're wasting so much on the other side of that. So I remember
I was,
committing 100,000 to a coach, and it completely just changed. It changes everything about your life.
I was so anti-coaching. I would never pay someone to tell me shit I can find on the internet for free. I would never
Same.
pay someone to do this and that. And then, man, it's been only like probably 5 to 6 years, maybe even less, when I converted. I was like, dude, look at me. I'm 27. I barely work. I got $1 million businesses. I'm so cool. And then now that I'm in coaching and learning, and a lot of that comes from Apex, which Brian and I will probably talk about, is that shift in your mindset going, dude, that guy has already done it. He can just tell me literally how to do it in 6 months rather than 6 years, 10 times faster. And then I am now a coach. I've been coaching probably for like 6 to 7, maybe the 8 years, but it's like I never had my own coach. Now I have a whole board of advisors. I got 18 people that I talk to all the time that advise me, my board of directors in each aspect of health. So I have 3 physical health
Wow.
advisors, 3 spiritual health, 3 financial health that I talk to all the time, and they all hopefully tell me how to be perfect.
Well, and it's funny because like we all think, and we resist that word coach. Like immediately, like when we hear it. Well, I used to say the same thing. I'll never be a coach, but anybody who's a CEO of a company, who leads teams, who leads a house, who has any interaction with anybody in life, you're a coach, whether you like it or not. Like,
Yeah.
so I think it's embracing that, but it's also being able to break that false belief that you can't go and do this on your own, because there's a lot of things that could go wrong. There's a lot of things in the morning when you wake up that you have to remember your why. I remember somebody gave me a piece of advice that they built a massive $250 million company, and they got up every day and did it out of fear. I think that's crazy. Like, why would you ever? Now, I think it's okay to be afraid, but I also think that if you're living in purpose and you're remembering why you're doing it and you're excited every day about doing that and it is your passion, then I feel like that outweighs, and people gravitate to that. Like they feel that energy that you're bringing to the table, of that passion of what you're doing.
And then you've got the question of, man, yeah, even presidents have advisors, right? You have a whole cabinet, and all those are basically coaches. You're like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
president of the United States, but maybe I'm not the best economic. Okay, so I've got this guy that he's going to go take care of the economics. Oh, but I don't really know how health works. I'm not a doctor. So then you have this, all these different, what are they called? Secretaries? Yeah, their cabinet. It's like,
Yeah.
And I mean, even just people that make 50 million a year. Tom Brady had coaches, tons of coaches. He had health and fitness
Absolutely.
coaches, and he had, obviously Belichick and all these other coaches. And it's like, man, why was I so stupid? Just fucking hire a coach and go get
Yeah,
and
I mean
fix all your
golf,
shit.
like they analyze your swing, and yeah, I mean there's coaches in every aspect of our life. So, but I think the coach really they bring out the mindset in you, like the why. Again, what is your purpose in life? What is the gift that you're bringing to the world? Because we all have one, and some of us get so bogged down in the doubt and the fear that we can't bring that gift to life to be able to give it to someone else.
All right, one quick question. Hopefully, you have a quick answer. Where on your life journey did you learn this tip?
So I learned it over the last couple of years, just from coaching, just actually paying somebody to tell me what I think I already knew. But yeah,
And another big thing about coaches too is accountability. They'll be the ones that you pay them to yell at you to get shit done.
I was just going to say what they do is they hold up the mirror
Yeah,
to what your potential absolutely is. Yes.
I agree with that. Awesome, Alan. Well, we're going to move on to our next guest. Thank you so much for your insightfulness. And let's see what Brian has to say for us. Hey,
Good
Brian,
morning.
who are you?
I am a radio show host. I host Success Profiles Radio, and I've been doing that since January 2012 every week. 580 episodes in the can now. I am also a magazine publisher. I publish Ultimate Achievers magazine. I'm also a book writing coach and ghostwriter. So I help people get their message out to the world in a much bigger way so that they can increase their awareness and all the things that go with building your brand and helping people leverage who they are in the business world.
Wow. All right. So your radio show, right?
Yeah.
So you're big on media. Do you use media for your
Yes.
own message, or do you use it for a lot of sharing other people's messages?
A little bit of both. I mean, I love coming on programs like this. I think I've been on a couple dozen opportunities like this year, and I'm always invited. So when you put yourself out there enough, people notice you and then they invite you. It's a whole lot better when you don't have to chase. It's a lot better when people see you and say, hey, would you like to do this? Now, I've hosted online summits before called Entrepreneur Live, and that was for the purpose of helping people write their books, marketing, putting it together, how to use it in their business, that sort of thing. And I have a Facebook group too called Entrepreneur Live. Join. We drop value every day. We sometimes do projects together, but it's so interesting how you can use a book to leverage your message and having a radio show and a magazine. So yes, you're right. I'm building a media platform where I can cross-pollinate and synergize everything. Because if you have a radio show, you can advertise your own services on your show. You don't have to have sponsors. It's nice if you can, but they don't always stick around very long. What I have found, if you're hosting a radio show or a podcast, the best way to monetize it is to somehow see if some of your guests end up become paying clients for you. And I had a coach ask me, how come you're not using your guest list as a lead list? Oh, wow. That's pretty innovative. So I just started, and it's not like I'm trying to sell. It's just that when I have people on my show who have written a book, I love talking to people about their book. But when I have people on my show who don't have a book, I ask them after the show, do you have a book or did I miss that in my research? Is this something you've thought about doing? What would it be about? Is there a way I can help you with that? And sometimes people are at the place in their journey where they say, yes, actually, I have been thinking about that. Let's have that conversation and see where it goes. And so I pay for my show many times over because some of my guests have become paying clients, and it's a beautiful thing.
And here we are getting sold by Brian nice and subtly. Everyone go get a book. Make your book. I'm just kidding.
That wasn't really my goal. I'm just sharing. This is how I did it, and this is how I help other people do it. And you know, it's been a really, really fun journey. I mean, over 80% of people out there want to write a book, and only 1% or less ever get around to actually doing it. So why aren't you doing it? You have a message to share, whether I'm helping you, whether you do it yourself, whether you use AI to create your outline. I mean, whatever you want to do, but just get started. Somebody who needs you isn't experiencing you because you just haven't hit the go button on your own life yet. Do it.
This is huge. And also, I'm going to start selling on my guests. I don't know what I'm going to sell, but I'll find something. But just like being a guest on this show, right? We say everyone has something they can share. Everyone knows something that half the world doesn't know, whether it's how to be an
Right.
entrepreneur, whether it's, your spiritual health and energy, whatever it is. It's almost the same idea. Be on this show, answer a few questions, tell a little bit of your story, and then go write your book with Brian and finish your story off, because the world deserves to hear it. Everyone needs to. There's someone out there that's going to be inspired by you. Someone out there is going to go do great things because they read your book and your story and grew from it. So that's a huge message, Brian. I'm very happy you said that.
Well, thank you.
Let's go over real quick. One last question. Where on your life journey did you learn this tip?
You know what? Having my radio show has been really awesome because I get to interview some of the world's greatest achievers, and it's basically free coaching for an hour. I mean, yes, I'm paying for the experience of having my show, but some of these people would charge thousands of dollars an hour to have access to them. And the key tip is invite these people on your show when they are promoting something. You think about the Tonight Show, for example. You only see Tom Cruise when he's ready to promote a new movie. That's it. You see him everywhere for 2 weeks, and you don't see him again for another year. So that's a pro tip. But yes, I learn a lot from the people who've been on my show. I've also learned a lot from people that have coached me. I also learn a lot from people who belong to organizations such as Apex, like you and I are in. Going to the events when I can get away has been a godsend. I've made some great friends. I've met some people I've learned things from. And when I'm at a point in my business where I can do and implement some of the things that they teach, that's where I'm going to learn from them and to hire them and all the things. So get around other like-minded people. Just like listen to this program every week, however long you do it. You're going to learn a lot. I'm learning a lot from the people who are already here on the panel with me. And I love what Alan said. You got to know your why first. That is really, really super important.
Agreed. And it's hilarious. And I'm literally reading a book called Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Made him super famous if you want to read that book. Awesome, Brian. Well, we're going to move on to our next guest. Thank you so much. We'll bring you back out on the round robin here. And next up, we have John. John, who are you?
I am an entrepreneur. I'm a father. I'm a veteran of the U.S. Army.
Thank you.
And I'm on a mission to help 1 million business owners master their cash flow. Take 100 days off a year, truly take 100 days off a year while building a work optional business that they can sell at a very nice multiple sometime in the future.
Wow. What a mission. My goodness. I love it. John, I hope you have a good answer for this next question. If I wanted to improve my financial health with entrepreneurship, what tiny piece of advice would you give me?
You have to, no excuse, have to become a master of your cash flow. You have to master it. So many people, if you look at the number 2 reason why businesses fail in the first 5 years, lack of capital, overspending, mismanagement of the money. If you don't understand where every single dollar is going and how much it takes for you to get the revenue in and how much it costs you to get the revenue in and where it's going, you're never, ever, ever going to be able to build the business that you want to accomplish the goals and dreams you want. I always say, if you can't manage $20,000 in revenue, there's no way you're going to manage $2 million in revenue. You're going to make the same mistakes, just at a much bigger scale.
That's interesting. Yeah, you can't manage 2 million, can't manage 20 million. All right. So
20,000. If you can't manage revenue of $20,000 when you're a startup just starting out, there's no way you're going to manage 200,000, $1 million, 2 million. Same mistakes that you're making with money with 20,000 or 10,000 in sales, you're going to just multiply those as your revenue keeps increasing. There's a big misconception among a lot of business owners. They'll get themselves out of a situation by just going out and making more sales. They make more sales and then they come back and they're like, what the heck? I made more sales. My QuickBooks says I have a profit, but my accountant says I've got to pay my taxes. And when I look at my account, where'd the money go?
Where'd the money go?
You have to become a master of your cash flow. You have to become addicted to the revenue to understand where it's all going so that you can build the business. So you have the resources, not about wanting to spend more things, about having the resources to be able to multiply that why, that passion, the things that you really want to do in this world is going to require capital and cash flow.
Where on your life journey did you learn this, John?
I learned it the very hard way.
I had a feeling.
27 years as a certified financial planner, helping people reach their retirement goals. I decided I was going to go independent, start my own firm, went independent, was doing great, had $1 million of revenue coming in, thought I was on top of the world. And I was sitting in Costa Rica last July. I was going through some numbers and realized I was bleeding out every single month. And at the rate that I was going, I was going to need to go back into a W-2 situation. So I forced myself to go through my QuickBooks to understand where the revenue was coming from and where it was going out. And I made all the changes to go from bleeding out $20,000 a month to 6 months later having a company that had a 55% profit margin,
Nice.
legit. Net margin, pre-tax.
So after doing that, you were like, all right, now I kind of hone that in, work on that, build that skill, and now you're where you are now.
Yeah, and now I help other people do it because it's really, really there's two parts. Like we have to, as business owners, entrepreneurs, we have to shift our relationship with money, because we'll go out there and say, you know what, I just want to do this. This is my big why, and I'm going to hire this person to do all the other stuff. And the other person's never going to keep it as close to the vest as you're going to keep it. They're never going to be as responsible with your money as you can be. And so we've got to stop shifting that responsibility. And then we've got to be collaborators. We've got to understand the game. And now I can say, okay, I'm going to bring this team in and I'm going to make sure this team is doing this or reporting on that, because I know the game and I know exactly what should be happening. I can spot check. This is how you end up not losing your company after 10 years because your business partner and your best friend stole it from you.
Oh boy.
Which didn't happen to me, but it's happened to a lot of people that I know.
Happens way more than you think. It's crazy how many people. All right, John, thank you so much. Let's bring everyone else out and have some fun. Bring Alan and Brian out. Maybe. Here he comes. Alan, can you quickly refresh what your tip was for us?
Yes. What is your purpose? What is your why?
Audience, this is also a great time to ask questions. We will answer them live as we go. Brian, quickly, let's hear what your thoughts are on Alan's tip.
I think starting with why is a really, really great idea. And you have to know your purpose, because if you don't know where your center of gravity is, it'll be really easy to get derailed when things get really, really hard. So I do agree with that.
John, what are your thoughts on Alan's tip?
I agree with it. I know for me personally, when I was younger, I would hear that and it felt so big and so huge to try to wrap my brain around, right? Yeah. And so what I would tell you is like it doesn't have to be significant. It doesn't have to be monumental. You don't have to save the world, right? It could be as simple as for me, in my situation, how I got in the financial services industry. I was tired of being a W-2 employee, working 60 hours a week, making $32,000 a year. The business owners were buying new cars, buying new houses, telling me they couldn't afford to pay me yet. And I'm sitting there watching them spend, and I'm sitting over going, what about me? And someone said, hey, why don't you go into an industry where you can make as much money as you want and no one's ever going to cap you? So that was my why. I just wanted to make more. I wanted to, if I worked hard, I wanted to be able to make as much money without someone telling me they were going to take it away from me because I was making too much. That was my only why when I got into business. It shifted and I was able to help a lot of people, but it was very simple. It didn't have to be monumental.
Awesome. That's funny. This whole start with why. So literally reading this book because I'm in the process of a crazy big task. I'm trying to automate a brand new company from all my courses and all my knowledge. It's already posted. Hire someone that can follow all of that and build an entire $1 million company within a year with me only spending like 10 hours helping them. But the first step is start with why. That's the first step I have. So I'm revamping that entire how to build a course. So it's crazy that we bring that up. It's so funny how this show just like hits my life completely random. All this shit's planned out months in advance. Like this episode was planned out probably 6 months ago and it just hits right when I'm trying to do something else. It's pretty entertaining. Brian, refresh us. What was your tip?
Create content as often as possible. And if you've got enough on one topic, you can create a book out of it. And you can use media to leverage your book. And you can use your book to create a business.
I love it. I love it. John, what are your thoughts on Brian's tip?
I've been trying to do that for a long time. I tried to write a book, and it sounds great, but for me, like I don't have that artistic kind of. I get stuck. Like for me, if I don't see the beginning, the middle, and the end, it's very very hard for me to. I mean, I've created content that went nowhere. I spent time to like, this is beautiful. It's going to resonate, and then I post it, and I get like no likes. So I think it is nice, and I've been working towards doing that now. Al and I have taken a course on strategic seduction, but it is so complicated to like really, really kick that off and get some traction with it. At least it has been for me.
John, I think I know a guy.
Yeah.
I think I know a guy. And if we can talk after, but if you need some social media pointers, I can help you with that too. There's nothing more frustrating than a big, elaborate, tasty post that goes nowhere.
Yes.
But I have tools that can make sure it goes all over. And I know a guy that does all about books. And if you have created content, John, you got enough for a book. Don't even start. You got enough in your head that Brian will take it all out. He'll put it in a book. You guys talk afterwards. Alan, what are your thoughts on Brian's tip?
I couldn't agree more, Brian. So in my prior life, when I was in health insurance, I wrote a book called Cheated: How Healthcare Stole the American Dream from my experiences. And then when I started my own company, I wrote a book all about my discoveries of plant medicine and where I was. I have a podcast. I've had 2 podcasts, but I love everything that you said because you get to create your own mastermind, your own coaching session, and you get to learn from people who are ahead of you. And I thought everything that you said was absolutely perfect because you can create so much content from your daily life. Because if we were just to share openly where we were, I get messages every day from people just saying, thank you for just being open, honest, and vulnerable about where you are in your life. It means a lot. So I 100% loved it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I love it. All right, John, refresh us what your tip was.
Yes, it was all about cash flow management. It's becoming obsessed with the data and really understanding where your money's coming in from and what are you spending it on and what your net is. I was in the military, so I like to look at every dollar like it's my soldiers. So I put them at attention every morning. I want to know where they're going. Some I'm going to send off to charity. Some I'm going to go have some fun and come visit you in the islands. And some I'm going to put the work to duplicate and come back to me tenfold, right? So every dollar has its purpose. You need to understand how many dollars you have in your army and what's the proper deployment of them. You have to get diligent about shifting your relationship with how you feel about managing money. If you can't manage 20,000, you're never going to be able to manage 20 million.
All right, we got a question from the audience directed strictly. Oh boy, let me click this correctly. There we go. Alan, this is going to be open to all of you as well. We'll let Alan answer first, though. Do you think you could have done it without the support of coaches? I'm not sure exactly what done it is, but I'll let you answer it.
I think I could have tried to figure it out, but I think it would have taken me a very long time, and I think I would have made a lot of mistakes around that. So again, a coach really just holds up the mirror, and they kind of create this time warp. Like you can condense what you can do, and I think Tony Robbins always said it. Like what you think you can do in 6 weeks, you can actually do less. If you can think you can do it in 12 months, it can actually be done in 6 weeks. But having a coach is going to really hold that accountability to you. To be able to really get all of the other stories out of the way. And you can do it. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to take a long way around. You're going to spend a lot of wasted money.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I'll touch on that too a little bit. Coaches are essentially, it's impossible to be an expert in, they say that an average person has like 7 areas they're an expert in, right? Whether it's your nutrition or your relationship with your Christian God or your marketing or whatever it is, everyone has about 7. So if you're trying to build a business or live your life, there's way more aspects out there. So if you want to be smart, you got to hire some. And this goes in all aspects. I mean, there's people that talk to their pastors, right, for their spiritual health. There's people, obviously, there's nutrition coaches, fitness coaches, business coaches. There's all these coaches everywhere. And all a coach really means is that they dedicated a shitload of time to figure out that one topic. That's all it really is. So if you want to write a book, why would you not hire Brian, who just sits there and teaches people how to write books all day? Like, you can Google it, you can AI it, you can go do this, or you can just be like, yo, Brian, I'm thinking about writing a book. I see that you've helped hundreds of people go write their books. Yeah, I understand I'm gonna have to pay you because you're paying for time, expertise, and convenience, right? You could go Amazon, do it, and write your own book and try to have Amazon publish it, sure. And you can fumble and you can fail, and it probably will cost you more money. Or you can just pay Brian whatever his fee is, probably like 50 cents, 75 cents, something like that, and he'll do the book for you entirely. Right, Brian?
Sure.
I guess the point of that whole little rant is that a coach is just somebody that has failed a shitload. They've already spent way more money than they're charging you, and they've already done all the failing and success, and they know how to get you from here to here way faster than you fumbling through Google AI and random people. I guess that's my... Oh, man, we got a lot of questions. Shit. All right. Do you think all entrepreneurs are naturally good coaches or have something valuable to teach the world? Well, according to this show, everyone has something to teach the world. But let's talk about entrepreneurs and coaches. What a great question.
Who wants to start this one?
I think I think the word entrepreneur and coaches and all that, they kind of get kind of mingled up together and put together and like tossed salad. But I didn't consider myself an entrepreneur when I started. I considered myself a guy that wanted to ensure that no one could ever, I wanted the freedom of being able to work as hard as I wanted to and take in whatever I wanted to without someone telling me I had to be somewhere and do that stuff. So for me, it was freedom is what guided me there. I don't necessarily think I've been the best coach to my staff. I've always enjoyed running a very lean staff. I've got 3 people total on my team, me and 2 other people. And I'm not a big staff person. I'm not a big, if I've got to come in and rah you every day, it's just going to wear me down. It's not my style. I love teaching. I love helping people shift their mindset around money. It's not a very sexy subject. People would rather talk about whys and other stuff than really deal with their own insecurities about how they manage money. But that's what I love doing, empowering them to be able to do that. And so you can teach a lot to people, but I think some people out there in social media, they're coaches and they're coaching and they're trying to figure out what they're trying to coach through. And like, they're not an expert and they haven't figured it out yet, but they're trying to charge and make money and make a business from it. And they actually have no clue. They're actually learning as you're paying them to learn. That's not my definition of coach.
No, coaching, coaches coaching coaches.
Yeah.
I would agree. I definitely would agree with that. I think there's passionate entrepreneurs who believe so much in what they do and they love people and they love to invest in those people. So I was in the military too. So I've led people in the military. I have had 100 employees. I cared about them genuinely though. I cared about what happened when they left. And there were days that I would wear some of those things that they were taking on. But I feel like each person is different. I feel like your style is different. Because again, I resisted the word coach. Even though I led lots of people, I never considered myself a coach. Entrepreneur, yes. Coach, no. But when I was finally able to just let go of whatever that word was and just lead people where they were, I think inherently you do both without thinking that you do both. Because I agree, John, it's a toss salad. Like everyone just kind of throws those words around universally without really any thought.
Right. Yeah.
I would definitely say that.
I think entrepreneurs do have something valuable to teach the world, but not everyone is very good at teaching it. I mean, if you look at the world of sports, Michael Jordan is arguably the best basketball player to have ever played the game. But do you think he would be a good coach? I think so much of it comes naturally to him. He may or may not be able to explain how he did it. He would just say, I just do it. You just practice and you work hard and you don't give up. And, I think a lot, I think if entrepreneurs allowed someone to shadow them to actually see what goes into creating a business, I think that'd be very illuminating.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like my entrepreneur role and my coaching role are so different. And one of them has
Hmm.
way more empathy and understanding because it's not my business and I'm getting paid. So if you don't want to do it, like I'm going to work with you. But if you have an excuse that I don't think would be an excuse in my life, that's your choice. And then when I'm an entrepreneur, I'm more of a militaristic. No, this has to be done. We got to get this done and move forward. I don't want to ever have to ask you about this. Get this done. Let's move on. Um, yeah, I don't know. I definitely switch a hat, I would say, when I get into a coaching role versus an entrepreneur role. So, all right, we got to rush through a few more questions here. Let's see here real quick. Here's a little comment. If you guys want to reflect on that, I think entrepreneur is a bold word, and this episode truly justifies that. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
For me, it's like what I said earlier. It's a word. It's just like a why. A why could be big. A why could be small. It's going to be individualized. I think for if someone's looking to make that entrepreneur jump or whatever it is, like just focus on whatever level that you can see and then build into it, because you're going to become a different person as you build in, as you take hits and you learn and you shift. You're going to become a much different person, and you may never see yourself as an
Hmm.
entrepreneur. You may see yourself as a coach. You might build a lifestyle practice, which is not like
Yeah.
entrepreneur rise profits. So it's going to be individualized to what makes sense
Yeah.
for you.
I agree with
Yeah.
that.
Being an entrepreneur means being bold. I mean, you have to take risks every day, but the more you can mitigate those risks, uh, that the better it is. I mean, I think, most people are really, really good at maybe only one or two things. And if you recognize what those things are and get help with the rest, whether it's hiring staff, whether it's hiring coaches, then you can multiply your efforts, but focus on the things that you are really, really good at. It is bold. I mean, it takes a lot of gumption to quit a job and to do something on your own and to be willing to fail more than once, sometimes spectacularly. But as long as you don't give up, you have a chance to make it work.
I remember one time someone called me a failed entrepreneur, and I went, "Yeah, that's exactly what fucking entrepreneur means." Like,
Well,
all
I
you
mean,
do is fail all day, every day.
well, and it's so funny that we're so afraid of failing. And I feel like that's the biggest problem that we have. I mean, if you think about even Edison, like how many times did he fail making a light bulb? And if you asked him, he didn't fail. He learned 999 times how to not make a light bulb. It only takes once.
You know what
All right,
WD
this
40,
one's
right? Water displacement test number 40. Took him 40 times to create WD 40.
if you don't mind me asking, John, what roles do your staff play?
They play amazing roles. I pay them very well because they're a talent people, and they play support roles on my team.
Very cool. All right, we've got one last little bit. What does this say? I remember you, Alan. You can do aileron roll, right?
Yes, I am a pilot.
All right, there we go.
I a couple of years ago, I was joking with my friends. I always wanted to learn how to fly, and I lived 4 miles from an airport. So I went down and started taking lessons. And my mom always said, growing up, that when I get into something, I get into it. And I ended up buying a plane. I leased it back to my flight school. Talking about entrepreneur and business, basically paid for all of my flight lessons. And yeah, I learned how to got my pilot's license about a year ago.
Nice. Congrats. Awesome. Our guests apparently remember you. That's fantastic. All right, guys. We are so late, and I knew that would happen because I love this subject, but we have to do something. Our entire purpose, kind of, is to create a daily challenge that takes less than 5 minutes a day, costs $0, and is available to anyone from Japan to Scotland. What ideas do you have? Oh, sorry. Apparently, they want us to keep going.
Do a Facebook Live for 5 minutes about
Oh.
the area of expertise that you have.
I
Ooh,
actually love that one. I love that. Any
I
other
would say,
Go
right.
ahead.
I journal every morning about what my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, or whatever it is that I want to get out. And I remember my why. Every morning at 4:30, I get up and I exercise my brain.
Okay, that's fantastic. So maybe we spend 2 minutes journaling about your why and then 3 minutes live talking about your why. I mean, if you don't have a business plan or anything, all you got to do is, if you don't even know your why, this is actually even better for you. You can write down something you enjoy, something you envision in 10 years, something that you like and something that you want. You could write down anything, and then you can just go talk about it and why. And I think after a week, you're going to see some serious fucking changes.
Yes, I love that.
I think that's damn good work, guys. That's a brilliant one. I can really see some shit happening. If you were to do this for a week straight, oh man, just write down things you like, why you like living, and then just talk about it for 2 or 3 minutes on live. Good work, guys. I love it. All right, so write down and journal about your why. Things you like, things you want, then go live and talk about them to your audience, which might be no one, might be mom. Who cares? Just go put it out there. Bakley, if you have one last question and you type it right now, we can take one last question.
I didn't get to share mine.
Oh,
Mine
go.
Mine would be to take a look at each day, how much you did in sales and how much you spent. Just real quick, just how much did I generate in revenue? How much money did we send? How much cash did we collect? How much consumption of that cash did we spend? And what was our net? Take a look at those figures every single day, and you're going to start aligning to what needs to be course corrected in that business.
So John and I were talking about this earlier this morning. Know your numbers. So we kind of joke, we're aura guys. Like I wake up in the morning and how did I sleep? So the facts of where you are in all of the aspects of your life. Know your numbers. I mean, if you don't know where your numbers are in your body, relationships with the people around you, your money coming in and out. I thought that was like a great conversation we had early this morning, John.
Yeah.
So you figure out your cash flow for the day.
Yeah, just look at the cash flow. How much cash did you collect? How much did you spend? What was your net?
All right, there we go.
Anything for that. You could do it anytime you want, any type of day.
All right, so write down and journal about your why, something you like, want, or love. Then go live on social media, and then take 1 minute to determine your cash flow for the day. I mean, so we've done this before for financial health, cash flow of the day. And don't forget, you have utilities that are broken down, break them down daily. You have your rent, car payment / insurance, whatever you pay on that. So your expenses, people realize that their expenses are much higher than they once thought once they break them all down to day to day. Cool. All right, guys. We did our challenge. We came here and did what we need to do. I'm going to put you all backstage and say goodbye to everyone. Thank you all for coming out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What an awesome episode. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching Millionaires Made. If you check out right below us, we have our daily challenge. Write down and journal about your why you're living, why you want to live, what you want in life, what things make you happy, what things you want to see in your future. Write it down, then go live on your social media and just talk about it for 2 or 3 minutes. And then also we need to know about our cash flow. So figure out what you're expending each day and what you're making each day. It should be rather consistent unless you're going out to eat or doing this or that. So break it down. Take your rent, break it down day by day. Take your utilities, your groceries, figure out exactly what you're spending, and maybe that'll solve